And we are now cutting across to a special guest. As we all understand that post-coronavirus, all of us will be living in a highly digitized world with lakhs and millions of people who have opted to work online and work from home. Now, since online activity that will increase, this will also increase the threat of cyber crime. What is it that one should be most aware of, and important details and information that one needs to conceal so that you can prevent yourselves from getting hacked? Let's bring in my guest, a cyber expert, Babita Singh, who's joining us live on the broadcast. Babita, very good morning to you and thank you for joining us. Firstly, explain to us the current scenario and how this is only going to increase in the time to come, given a lot of people have now opted to work from home, online activity and internet usage that has seen a sharp spike, and how does this increase the risk of cybercrime?
Shreyasha, just because we are in the lockdown, we are dependent on the new digital ecosystem, which is the main reason for this increase in the cybercrime. Our new digital ecosystem includes work from home, online payments, online deliveries, online shopping. We are shopping for our daily essentials also online. Hence, we are also paving a way for these types of crimes which are rampant, and we see a sudden surge in this. The most marked type of 4 cases that we see in cybercrime are in the last 3 months is fraud related to online deliveries, online groceries, liquor, which is using your debit and credit card details. The second thing that we see on the surge is about the fake news that is being circulated in a very large scale. The third is hate speech, and the fourth is sextortion. In 2019 itself, India recorded around 219 billion INR in online banking fraud. What I personally feel is that cyber hygiene is very important, along with awareness and sensitization. Since the government announced the new 3-month EMI moratorium, fraudsters have conceived a new way to deceive such people, wherein they have started posing as bank officials, they have started sending emails, phishing emails, they have started sending WhatsApp messages, they have started sending you an SMS to verify your details, whether would you want to avail an opportunity like this. The people are easily falling for this kind of trap. The second thing that we see now is sextortion. A lot of leaked IDs, usernames and passwords wherein people do not know how to practice themselves online. They are there present on the internet. So what you can do as a user, you can just go and check for and verify your details on a site called Have I Been Pawned. If your details are leaked, if your details are there present, you can take adequate security measures like a 2-time OTP authentication and many other security procedures which are offered by the new social media sites to safeguard yourself. We also see a lot of surge in the new lockdown relationships because youths are pretty vulnerable these days, and a lot of people, especially the youth segment, have been deceived. Women are the next target for these scamsters. A lot of WhatsApp for women are being hacked. The modus operandi is very simple. They have started registering your WhatsApp on the business account, and you just get to have a link coming on your SMS. What you can do to prevent such things is, in case you become a victim of such scenario, you can report this cybercrime immediately to cybercrime.gov.in, which is a Government of India initiative. You can report it anonymously. You can report it with relevant details. The details go to the nearest police station and an action is being taken. If you are women and if you are pretty vulnerable and you have a security issue that you don't want your details to go out, you can also approach the National Commission of Women and report such cases with them. They are also very strict in taking actions, which is very immediate. Maharashtra has specifically come out with a zero tolerance policy on such procedures, and they have launched a site called reportphishing.in. But we also see a lot of kids who are availing this new online study system, which is also making them vulnerable to the online attacks. So what you can do to protect your kids is you can increase awareness. So awareness is definitely the key to such cases.
Absolutely, very rightly said, Babita. It's extremely important to be aware in the given time, and especially the fact that digitization is only going to scale up. I also want to talk to you about the Zoom app. Lots being spoken about how safe it is. So are Zoom users particularly vulnerable to cyber threats?
See, the answer could be yes, the answer could be no. if you are leaking your details and if you are sharing your details with people whom do you not know, then you are vulnerable. If you are sharing your details and if you're repeating the same meeting ID and you're just sharing your generic passwords, people a lot of these days keep generic passwords like 123456 and the meeting ID remains constant for them, then definitely you are becoming the biggest prey for these kind of scamsters. So if you follow the procedures which have been, Zoom has definitely beefed up the security and it's completely safe. But if you do not follow the procedures and protocols given by the Zoom security team, then definitely you are giving way yourself out there in the public.
All right. Babita, earlier on you were also mentioning about how there's an increasing rise in crimes, especially when it comes to spreading provocative content, rumors and objectionable posts. I want to understand both ends from you to how one as a user can ensure that they can try and, keep this kind of content away and know what is fake and what is real, identify between the two. And even for those who try and push this kind of content, what can be done to ensure that they can be cornered and it is out there? How can we have more discretion on this?
Okay, so Yasha, we have the Home Ministry and the IT department has definitely reported around 2,200 URLs which look like the official URLs coming from Government of India, since the Government of India has set up a PM Care Fund. So a lot of scamsters have started using and calling the same thing, which is if you start seeing the content, it is almost indistinguishable. So what you can do is you can actually check and verify. Almost 8,000 people in the last 3 months from India and abroad have been duped of giving donations to the PM Care Fund and nothing has been received. So what you can do, phishing, this is basically called phishing. Phishing happens from your email, your SMS, your WhatsApp. So a lot of users have started receiving emails coming in from the PM Care Fund, the WHO team, and a lot of labs which says that there are test reports, and this is something you should know about coronavirus if you want to report certain things, if you want to understand certain things. So before clicking on any link or before sharing any information, you should always verify the authenticity of that email. If the main URL is pmcarefund.com, for example, so generally the users, scamsters follow a procedure wherein they try and skip one number or one letter out of the entire URL. So while using online, while being online, caution is the only key to identify. So you cannot miss out onto seeing such details which are very important. Before clicking onto the link or before giving out your information, your personal information, you should always make sure that you are reaching the right set of people. So definitely. Over to you, Swesha.
Absolutely. Babita, on that note, many thanks for joining us this morning and sharing all this very vital information. I am hoping this has greatly helped increase the awareness of our viewers. Thank you once again for joining in.
Thank you, Swesha.